Today's video, we're talking about Adobe Photoshop. I'm going to show you the new generative fill that will speed up your workflow if you're a real estate photographer. With that being said, let's get started. All right, so first things first, if you want to try out these new features in Adobe Photoshop, you need to head over to the Adobe Marketplace and you need to make sure that you download the latest beta apps. So there's a bunch of beta apps in here for Premiere Pro, Adobe Rush, even After Effects, but the one we're focusing on today is Adobe Photoshop. That's going to give us some of these unique new removal features, or in some instances, add features that you won't find in the publicly released version. So I went ahead and photographed some images over the past week or so. Each of them have some things that need to be removed for the client, but we'll start off with this one right here. This is a backyard that I photographed, and most people would probably just deliver this as is to the client. However, I feel like it's a little bit messy. There's a lot going on here, not just in the client's backyard, but in the backyard next door. And the thing about removing items in this backyard, these are all things that the homeowners can actually really remove. So it's okay to remove these or Photoshop these out. So let's start off with the neighbor's backyard. Again, we're going to be using generative fill to speed up our workflow. I'm going to come up here to the tool section, make sure I have lasso tool selected, and then I'm just going to draw a box around this truck here. So we'll draw the box, and then you'll see a window pops up underneath here, gives you some options, and we're just going to click generative fill. And then I'm going to click generate. And then what's going to happen is it's going to think about what we're doing, and it knows I want to remove this truck because it's the only thing lassoed and it's the subject. So in theory, what should happen is it should regenerate the grass and the trees behind it, in theory. Let's see if that works out. And it actually did. Now it added this palm tree type of thing here, but we can also remove that as well if we don't know if it actually exists. And I really don't think there's a tree there. So we'll just go ahead and just generate a removal of that because we're not sure if it lists. So I went ahead and removed that tree because, again, I'm not sure if one's there. However, it'll give you some options of the backgrounds and what you think looks best. I think that this one looks the best. I mean, they're all subtle changes. And then the next thing I do is I like to merge these layers down, and then we're going to zoom back out. So that cleaned up the neighbor's yard, looking a lot less messy over there. Now we need to clean up this area here. So we have these toys here, and same thing. I'm just going to go ahead and draw around this. I mean, it don't have to be perfect. And we're going to hit generative fill, and you can add even sort of commands to it and say remove. Now be careful, because whatever command you add to these items, it may add something that is not desirable to the result. So keep that in mind. So like right here, it added some other rando toy. It removed some of the things, but then it also added something that we didn't ask for it to add. So I'm going to merge these layers down again. And then what I'm going to do is draw a bigger box and try to take a larger chunk to try to convey the point that I really need these items removed. And I'm also doing the shadows of those subjects as well. So now we're taking a larger chunk, and I'm going to hit, I'm just going to tell it to remove. Sometimes it listens to these commands, sometimes it doesn't, but let's see what it does here. I have everything lassoed. In theory, it should go ahead and remove it. And voila, it went ahead and removed those, which would have took me a hell of a long time cleaning this up manually. Now there's some minor residual here. And one of the nice things is in the new Photoshop, we also have this removal tool that does make it a lot easier to use before. Now you do need to merge down these layers again before you can do any other Photoshopping, but I'm just going to go ahead and remove these little snippets there. And honestly, that looks fine. There is a little line here, and I can just remove that because that's definitely not there on the property. So we'll just remove that line, and I think that would probably be fine. I can leave this because these could be like considered water stains. Doesn't have to be perfect. We just wanted to move some of that clutter. So that looks a hell of a lot better than before. And I'll go ahead and put the befores and afters up here. And that's pretty much all I would do with this image. I'm not going to fix any of the grass. It's sparsy. That's fine. The playground is here. I mean, unless if they ask me to remove the playground, I'm not going to remove it. Let's move over to this image here. This is an aerial shot with the Mavic 3 Pro. And I'm going to zoom in here. And you can see there's a truck behind these palm trees, which the truck shouldn't be there. This was actually the homeowner. He didn't move it out away from in front of the house quick enough. And we ended up snagging it. There's also over here, there's like a little garbage can, which that's a little dab. And I don't really like that. I may use the regenerative fill to go ahead and remove that as well, because otherwise it may affect the garage door. But let's go ahead and try this out on this clip here. This is an aerial clip. We're just going to, again, draw around the truck, just like that. Draw, draw, draw. And let's see what happens. So we'll do generative fill and generate. In theory, it should go ahead and remove the truck. It should also re-add the paving. I hope. We'll see. Really didn't do a good job there, but we can try it one more time. And, well, I'm going to actually deselect that. There are some options that it gives you. This one was better. This one's not good. This one's the best. I can actually work with this. So what I can do is actually merge these layers down. See, it gives you options, which you never had this before. And then we can just go ahead and remove that. And we'll bleed over into the palm tree a little bit. And sometimes taking smaller sections helps. Sometimes taking bigger sections help. This is definitely a harder one to do. And it's looking better, but it's not perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one. Let me deselect. That was a little sloppy of a lasso. And we're going to generate. It's getting better though. We're getting closer again. This is so much faster than doing it the old way where we use the old content aware tool. That's better. Let me go ahead and merge these layers down. Sometimes merging layers down does work. And again, don't forget, you can also check the options that it gives you. And we do that. Sometimes when you have a lot of greens or something similar to like contrast behind, it does get a little mushy, makes it difficult, so you need to be careful. It's not going to work on every situation, but for the most part, I have found that it works pretty good. All right, so that one's pretty good. Let's see what that one's actually, I like this one the best. So it gives you these options, and then you just merge the layers, and then I just want to clean this up a little bit further. And we'll generate again. Again, we're being super nitpicky here, but we just removed the car out of here, which I think is huge. All right, so that looks pretty good right there. I mean, again, I could get a little more nitpicky, and I probably will just by using the spot removal tool right here. So we'll use spot removal and just dab it up a little bit. There we go, and just a little bit more. Perfect. And then I know I have a garbage can here. It's actually hard to see. I only know it because I know that the guy pointed it out to me. So if I actually bring this spot removal tool down to like, I want to say 7, I could probably get rid of that. Yeah, there we go. And let's zoom all the way out to like the main aerial shot. And realistically, that shadow that's sitting there, that could be the shadow from the palm tree. It could be a shadow from anywhere. If I wanted to, I could go ahead and remove that further. And let's try to remove that a little bit further just to really, really clean up this whole space here. Let's see if this will actually take that out. I think it will, because there doesn't seem to be any other shadows on this road, so might not be a bad idea to remove that completely. Let's see if it does a good job. And it did. That looks actually much better. So took the shadow out of there. And I said I don't want the neighbor's car to be here, so we'll take this out. This one should be no problem whatsoever, so we'll take that car out. And it should even fill in the garage door and everything else. It should automatically know. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Sometimes it moves really quickly. I have no idea what that is. All right, so this can be sometimes a problem. Let's try that again. We're gonna redo the layer. I'm gonna make it a little bit tighter. Generative fill, I'm going to say remove vehicle. So we're going to be a little bit more specific with it. Okay, So it removed the vehicle, but it's adding this planter box. So that's one of the downsides of this, is that it sort of has a mind of its own, but that's okay, because now we've added this. We can go ahead and remove this entirely. So I can just say remove, and I think it'll get the hint that I don't want anything there. I just want a blank driveway. It did a good job of recreating the garage door, but let's see if we can get it to remove this added planter. Let's see. So close, so close. Like, this is so close. I almost want to just try to remove this right here, because I think it would. I think that's the way to go, is just try to remove this pillar. But you can see sometimes it could be a battle. Like, you don't always get the desirable results that you're looking for, which, downside. It's a downside. All right, so now we're further away. That's fine, because this is actually how his driveway actually is. So now I can just say on this one, we'll say remove. Took us a little bit to get there. And again, it may not be worth doing, removing a neighbor's car, but there we go. All right, that's about where I'm going to put it. It's not a big deal because it's not a focal point. It's not the house that we're selling. It was just something that was distracting. So I can zoom all the way out. And again, unless you're really pixel peeping, you may not notice that whatsoever. So that we'll call done. Let's go over to one that I think is more common that a lot of people see, which is this right here. You have nowhere else to park. You're photographing. There's a window. Your vehicle or the realtor's vehicle is directly in the window here. So let's give this a go here. So we're going to use the lasso tool. And for this one, I am not going to be really critical. I am literally just lassoing my vehicle, and I'm also overlapping the window pieces as well, trying to make a nice tight lasso. And now I'm just going to hit Generative Fill. And with any luck, it should know that we want to move the object behind the window. It's smart enough to know that we're going to be taking the vehicle out of the window. And sometimes it's not perfect, but it just adds more vehicles. That's good right here. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and merge this. I'm okay with this. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight this, and I'm just going to tell it to remove. And I think I actually say removed. Like I said, it's not perfect. Sometimes it's a battle back and forth with... I have no idea what that is. That's better. This is not. I don't know what that is. No idea what that little block is. All right, that looks pretty good. Let me just double check this. That one I think is the best right here. Although I do like the... No, I think I like this one the best. So let me merge these layers down and let's zoom all the way out. So that looks a heck of a lot better. So we've got our vehicle out, but we still got the realtor's car in here. So we're just going to go ahead, do the same thing. This one will be easy though. We'll just come over here and I don't even have to tell it anything, and it should automatically remove that vehicle from there. It did a really good job of that. Yeah, see, look, and it's went ahead and removed that. Now, it did do some things to that truck behind here. Like, it does some weird things to vehicles. So you have to, like, it's going to make some things into vehicles that may not actually exist. So you got to be careful of that. But, again, it's not really a big deal for us. Like, when you're looking at it from afar, you can just see that there's a vehicle in the driveway. And you could totally remove that vehicle probably even... if you really want it. Like, if I wanted to be really super anal about this, I can just come over here and we can just remove that altogether. There may be enough details there for it to remove this entirely. But we've spent, what are we at recording wise? We've spent 4 minutes, if that. So we can get away with that, actually. I think it's out of focus enough where it doesn't really matter. All right, so now that we've got that out of the window, now I can just go back and grab my remove tool and just remove some of these thumbtacks because they had like blackout curtains because the homeowner works nights. So this is the removal tool, and this one moves really quickly. This works great if you don't have a lot of detail. And oh, there's a thumbtack right there. And voila, we're pretty much done. We don't have to blend anything down. But there you go. That's generative fill for Adobe Photoshop. Pretty simple. It can be frustrating at times, but you got to keep telling it and keep merging and copying and lassoing. But again, this took us about 5-6 minutes, and I think it was way faster than doing it the old way using the content aware feature, which may or may not work. This is just so much smarter, so much more efficient. And let me know if it helps improve your workflow. Adobe's getting so crazy with the AI. I cannot wait to see them add these features to video. When that happens, it's going to be game over for a lot of people. And this is one of the main reasons why I refuse to leave the Adobe Creative Cloud suite, because there's so many interesting features like this that keep getting added. And honestly, for me, paying something like this monthly is a write-off for my business, so I don't even care. And it's always funny when people are like, oh, I got to pay monthly for something. Well, subscriptions are just sort of how it goes. That's how you get features like this added to software on a regular basis. And these new betas are awesome. So give them a try. Let me know what you think. I will see you in the next video. Stay original.